And
you
we
very
now
much.
recognize the gentlelady from Illinois for 8 minutes for her questions.
Secretary Mullin, I want to discuss FEMA's denial of disaster assistance for families in Illinois. You and I both come from communities that deal with tornadoes. Just last week, Northern Illinois was under a tornado watch as severe storms swept through the region, downing trees, disrupting flights in and out of Chicago, and leaving thousands without power. And between August 16th and 19th of last year, severe thunderstorms, extreme rainfall, flooding, and damaging winds impacted communities across Northern Illinois. Homes were damaged, roads were flooded, power lines were downed, and families suffered significant losses. Illinois requested a major disaster declaration that included individual assistance, which helps affected families pay for home repairs, property losses, childcare, temporary housing, moving assistance, moving expenses, and recovery costs. FEMA denied Illinois' request in October. Illinois appealed in November. Then on February 7th, 2026, FEMA denied the appeal and reaffirmed its decision. Unfortunately, Illinois is not alone. Since President Trump took office, the number of disaster declarations approved has been 30% lower than the historical average. And there's reason to be concerned that they're being politicized. An analysis from March of this year found that FEMA approved just 23% of disaster requests from Democratic-led states compared to 89% from Republican-led states. Don't get me wrong. Concerns about FEMA's response are coming from both sides of the aisle, including from your former Republican colleagues in the Senate. This should not be a partisan issue. Americans expect timely disaster assistance decisions that follow the law, not politics. What makes this even harder to understand is that Republicans have provided DHS with tens of billions of dollars through reconciliation funding twice on top of annual appropriations. Your department has repeatedly stated that this funding could support operations for years, yet families in my district were told there was no assistance or funds available to help them recover. On top of that, this committee does not have a comprehensive spend plan explaining how these funds are being used, despite my repeated requests over the last several months. Secretary Mullin, will you commit to a member-level meeting with my colleagues and I to discuss why Illinois' disaster declaration was denied and to see how we can support my constituents?
Ma'am, we haven't denied anybody a meeting with us. If you reach out, we'll meet with you. Just as long as, I mean, and we'll do it in a timely fashion, maybe not the next day, but we'll get to it as soon as possible. But I do want to address, what, if you don't mind, what you talked about here on politicizing it, because I don't.
I actually don't want to talk about politicizing
Well, but
it.
if you,
I want to meet with you to
but I mean,
discuss this in
but
depth.
you made some
This is my
accusations
time,
here
Mr.
about
Chairman.
President Trump that's actually not accurate, because
Mr. Chairman,
Go for it.
if you're going to make accusations, though, you have
Mr.
to let
Chairman,
us respond back to
reclaiming
them.
my time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so you're lying about
Mr.
it then,
Chairman,
because you don't want to hear the truth.
Mr. Chairman, this week President Trump's
Mr.
nominee.
Secretary, the record will reflect that you have agreed to meet with the lady and her folks. And since I'm trying to keep people in 8 minutes, please proceed.
Thank you. This week, President Trump's nominee to head FEMA, Cameron Hamilton, appeared before the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee and pledged that FEMA would be fair and reasonable when evaluating requests for disaster aid. Secretary Mullin, will you make the same commitment as Mr. Hamilton to evaluate disaster requests fairly, reasonably, and without regard to politics? Yes or no?
It's interesting that you won't allow me to answer those questions. I can explain it to you, because I don't look at states different between blue or red. I look at them across the country as a whole.
Thank
If
you.
you actually want to know what we're doing, I'll be happy to, so you're not worried about this. I don't look at this any different, ma'am, and I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to fight with you. I like facts.
Great.
Accusations doesn't help anybody.
I appreciate
The more
that
you're informed, the
commitment,
better you know,
and I
because
will
you're
hold
saying
you
some
to
stuff
that
that's not true.
commitment. And I hope that Illinois receives the same fair consideration as any other state. Now, I'd also like to address another deeply concerning matter, detainees who died while in your custody. Secretary Mullin, since Donald Trump took office, DHS's immigration detention system has been plagued by medical neglect, abuse, overcrowding, and a historically high death rate. I saw these dangerous conditions with my own eyes when I visited the Miami Correctional Facility in Bunker Hill, Indiana, where I met with individuals who told me that it takes months to receive medication refills, including for life-threatening illnesses like diabetes. Others reported being left unattended with infected boils and other serious conditions. So it's no surprise that a detainee at that facility died shortly after my visit, or that more detainees died in ICE custody in 2025 than ever before. Secretary Mullin, does DHS have any official, specific internal goals or policies to reduce deaths in custody?
Ma'am, your numbers just aren't accurate. We've had 0.009%.
Mr. Secretary,
You're
I didn't
asking
ask.
about
I
this.
asked a
It's
specific
0.009%
question.
of deaths.
Mr.
And
Chairman,
we've had 54
reclaiming
total in the
my
president's,
time, Mr.
president's time.
Chairman.
Those
If
are
I-
dangerous
if I-
accusations
Mr.
you're making.
Secretary, Mr.
which-
Secretary.
Those are dangerous
get
accusations
that.
that she's making. Because
we
in the
are
state of
not-
Illinois,
This
they're
is
twice
my
as
time.
high.
not doing
They're
a
twice as
taco
high to
time.
die in the state penitentiary of Illinois than they are in
You are
detention
invited to
centers.
this committee. This is my time.
And you need
are
to be
a
informed
guest.
by what you're saying.
I am informed.
No, you're not, ma'am.
Mr. Secretary, does DHS have
Do
any
you realize that?
official,
Do you
specific
realize that
internal
we
goals
have
or
one
policies?
doctor
Mr.
per
Chairman?
1,000 for detention centers for our federal detention centers in the state of Illinois? They have one per 1,800.
Chairman,
But
this
yet
is
she
my
wants to
time.
focus on our
I
detention
understand
centers.
that. You'll get your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I guess this is a good place to stop. We are trying to keep members to 8 minutes. Mr. Secretary, you know that too. That's fine. So we all know how the clock runs here. The idea is to get together to forward questions. I'm going to have you repeat your question
Thank
when
you.
we start up again.
Thank you.
But I can tell you this, if this format won't work, then we'll reschedule the meeting for later when we can keep it to all the issues accordingly. So this is the efficient way to do it, but if we can't do it the efficient way, then we'll go to Plan B, which will not be today. And I don't mean that as a threat to anybody. I'm just saying this is not Meet the Press or Fox News or whatever for anybody involved. It's what's the question, what's the answer? Mr. Secretary, if you need more time to respond to that, the committee will make any of your comments part of the record, and we will endeavor to make sure that you get to meet with whoever wants more time. But while we've got the whole committee sitting here, we're not going to do the XYZ debate, whatever the heck. So, ma'am, please repeat your question, and as near as I can figure, you got about 4 minutes left.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Secretary Mullin, does DHS have any specific internal document, policies, or goals to reduce deaths in custody?
And we do a wonderful job on
That's a
providing
yes or no
medical
question,
to,
sir.
we're doing a wonderful job
Okay.
at it. We have
Is it your
0.009% of deaths in our
whether the
prison,
department that you lead
which is a
has
lot better than the state of
policy?
Illinois.
Is it your testimony that you do not know whether or not the department that you lead has a policy to reduce deaths in custody?
No, I did not say that, ma'am.
You didn't answer my question.
Yes, I did. You're making accusations and you're not even
I'll
looking
take
at your
that
own
as a
state.
no. You have no policy or plan to reduce deaths in custody.
That's not
now,
true.
2 months ago, I asked ICE
Our medical staff
acting
does a
director Todd
phenomenal
Lyons
job. In
the
fact,
same
every
question.
detainee sees a doctor
said
or
that-
a
Mr.
nurse with every 2 weeks.
I reclaim my time.
Okay, ask your next question.
Okay. 2 months ago, I asked ICE Director Todd Lyons the same question. He said that ICE, quote, hopes that there will be no deaths in custody, but admitted that the agency had no actual policy in place to prevent them. Rather than implement one, he resigned just a few hours later. Secretary, since that hearing, 3 more people have died in ICE's custody, and those are the only deaths that we know about based on your agency's public reporting. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to request unanimous consent to enter into the record a report that came out today from Human Rights Watch and Physicians for Human Rights titled Dying in Detention, Rising Deaths in an Expanding U.S. Immigration Detention System.
Without objection, so
Thank
ordered.
you so much, Mr. Chairman. Drawing on government records, detention data, and expert medical reviews, this report outlines 52 deaths in ICE custody during President Trump's second term and highlights the concerns we've been raising to your department regarding the lack of access to medical care, suicide prevention, transparency, and accountability in detention facilities. Secretary Mullin, ICE's detainee death reporting has not been updated since April 28th of 2026. The death rate in ICE custody has doubled during President Trump's second term. Will you commit to reporting detainee deaths as required by law?
We do report them, ma'am. No one,
So is it your
I don't know.
testimony then
We
that there is
report these.
no-
What you're talking about is what Congress has asked us to do, which we're not required to do, is report the deaths after they're released. That
no.
doesn't make any sense. They're not
Okay,
under our
Mr.
watch at that
Secretary,
point. If
is
they
it your
die in our
testimony that
release,
you are
we
is it your
report them.
testimony that there have been no deaths since April 28th?
I didn't say that.
Okay, so are you going to commit to complying with the required reporting
And
requirement?
we were shut down for
Okay,
115
under
days under this
reclaiming my
department.
time,
So I don't know
Mr.
what
Secretary.
we just now reopened. So I don't know what reports
Mr.
you want us to
Chairman,
do
I
when
don't
you
know what
weren't
to
willing
tell
to
you,
fund
Mr.
us.
Chairman.
You want the reports, but you don't want to fund us? That
Secretary's
makes no
belligerent
sense.
here, and his been taking up my time.
What's your next question?
My next comment is that the ICE
No, there's no
director-
questions, it's just comments.
No, I had a question. He didn't answer my question. And
So the record will reflect that. What's your next question?
yes, sir. There is a policy of reviewing and publicly reporting deaths that occur within 30 days of a detainee's release from custody. And that policy existed to prevent ICE from avoiding accountability by releasing seriously ill people shortly before they die. And as a nurse, I find this deeply troubling change in their reporting posture. Families deserve answers, and Congress should be able to conduct oversight, and the American people should have confidence that deaths connected to federal detention are not being hidden through administrative loopholes or filibustering. Transparency is not optional. There are laws and reporting requirements, and if this administration is unwilling to account for what happens to people in its custody, then it's Congress's role to question whether it deserves more authority, more detention capacity, or any additional cent from the American people. Mr. Chairman, thank you for letting me finish my comments, and I yield back.
Thank you. You have been much more timely than a couple of your predecessors on either side of the aisle, and I appreciate that.